Okay, welcome everybody. This is the December meeting of the KFNA Board of Directors, the Kingfield Neighborhood Association. This is our, as I said, this is our December meeting. We've got a full agenda tonight, so we will get kicked off right away. At the top of all of our meetings, we typically do a community forum. Don't see any specific non-board member community members here, non-community member board members here. So we'll leave, we'll open it up to board members as we all are community members for the top of our meeting. If there's anything anyone would like to share now in the community forum portion of our meeting, please feel free. Seeing none, I will officially call the meeting to order and ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes for tonight's meeting, or the minutes of the November meeting and the agenda for tonight's meeting.
So moved. Seconded.
Any discussion? Seeing none, could I get a thumbs up yes in the chat, yes in audio for those all in favor? I know David's still signing on, so David, any opposed? And I'm going to be an abstention because I was not here at the last meeting, so I will abstain from that vote. Great, moving quickly through stuff. Looks like the first item on the agenda tonight is update on Minnesota Peace Builder and Restorative Justice Project. I believe Sarah L.R., this was something that you were going to present on.
Hold on, sorry. I'm happy to start this off. Sarah Cheetah actually sat in on the introductory meeting with Kenzie and myself. So Sarah, feel free to chime in. We've actually just put together a proposal. It is due in on Friday. So this is a pretty fast turnaround offer. It's an opportunity through the Restorative Justice and Minnesota Peace Builders for a 6-month process for up to 10 community members to receive direct training in both trauma awareness, restorative justice techniques, and to come up with their own public safety plan. And it begins in January and runs through June. So we are looking at a joint application with the Lindale Neighborhood Association. They'll work and train together as one group of up to 10 members, and then could possibly develop a single public safety plan that they will implement in the community, or could develop individual plans. Sarah, want to add anything?
I'll just add that I'm excited to see the city funding something like this. It sounds like it's a pilot project with opportunity to grow this depending on, I think, how things go with this first neighborhood organization that is selected. So I think it's a good opportunity. I think it's a significant time commitment. And so I think finding the right people who are able to commit the time, finding the right people to I think about, who is most impacted in community safety discussions and by community safety decisions. And so making sure that, we find the right people who can kind of weigh in on those types of things. But I think it's another tool in the toolkit, essentially. And going to the info session last week, I was excited to see the number of organizations interested. I was also thinking about a lot of the work that Kingfield and Lindale have already started and will continue to do, regardless of the outcome of this proposal, but that, being selected as part of this program could really be another step for us as an organization, both to bring in more people to the conversation and also to think about kind of broadening our capacity and scope and in sustaining some of this work. So yeah, we'll see what comes of it. It was a very fast process and turnaround time, and get started right after the new year. So I'm sure there will be more to come if we are selected, including a call for people who might be interested in participating or nominating people that you think might be good for this.
As a side note to that, I do just want to add, we've started to identify people who we might think would be a good fit for this, which is not just simply selecting people, but I feel, and I believe Sarah agrees with me, this would be important for the board to be involved in. So a lot of the work on public safety or beyond policing has been done outside of the board. And so I think that this would be an important public step for the board of directors to be taking for the neighborhood.
Can I ask a quick question? So this is who is actually, can you remind me who's making the decision on this? And it sounds like they're going directly, they're only opening this up to neighborhood associations, correct?
So the applications are due on Friday. There's an interview next week. We don't really know what that means or who they're interviewing. It might just be the person whose name is on the proposal, or it might be a slate of people. I believe that the decision is being made by, I can't think of her name, Chriselle, who's with the Peace Building organization, and the other woman, Sarah, do you remember? Polly, Christine, I
don't remember their name.
I believe it's the two executive directors will be making the decision. And they're working with Manu Lewis. I don't know if he's part of the decision or just offering training.
And then final question, how many community members then would kind of get invited to be a part of this if we were selected? Or is that kind of up to us? 5, okay.
The goal would be 5 from each neighborhood. And then Kenzie would be a part of that process on top of that. And looking at the dates, I would also probably be a part of that group. And it's not a group where you can drop in and out on, so it's either you're in or you're out. So it starts with a 4 or 5 day training, all day training in trauma and trauma awareness.
Great. Any other questions from board members or anything else anyone wanted to share on that? It sounds like this is not something that the board needs to approve to apply for, but it's more of kind of a heads up to board members that this is something that I would say staff and board members are partnering on to pursue. That's correct, Sarah, right?
That is correct. So there's no, we're not being asked to put financial output towards it, but there would be a staff dedication of resources to it. However, I feel like it's in line with the intent of both organizations. So it's really just a heads up.
Okay. Sounds great. Is that, sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions. Is that proposal something that you're working on, Sarah, or are you asking board members to participate in that at all or review that, or is that something that staff is going to put together?
Staff put together a draft. Kenzie put her thoughts down on paper. I did a final edit of that. Sarah Cheetah has gone through it already and made her comments. I've adopted most of those. I think I have a few more left to look at. If anyone else wants to read it, we can share the link. It's up in a Google Drive. I would like to finalize it tomorrow and get it in before Friday.
Awesome.
I'll just make one more, sorry, I'll just make one more comment too, that I went to the info session because I happened to be available and I happened to see it in Councilmember Jenkins' newsletter, but I would love if there are folks on the board that are interested in being part of the group. I may have gone to the info session. It doesn't have to be me that is included. And yeah, I think that's a much, much bigger conversation.
Okay, great. Thank you. That sounds really exciting. Next, sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
I just want to say I'm putting the link in the chat. My request to people is if you have comments, do it as a comment. Please don't edit the document itself.
Okay. Seeing no other questions. Next item on the agenda, events for December and events calendar for 2022. Sarah, I think this was something that you were going to kick off as well, right?
It is. And David just added in here, I have to give access because I don't know what in what Google Drive it is. So I'll do that after the meeting or after I'm done talking, David, sorry. Okay, events. So the goal of events tonight was to run through, hold on, there's a folder in the packet. Okay, so there's a folder in the packet, which everyone should have access to. And there's a spreadsheet in there, which I just put in the chat. So this is the start of the list for events for 2022. And so the goal of this evening was to talk about what things are happening what things are happening now in December, what things are happening for sure in 2022, what things that have been done before are being talked about, and then break you guys up into your board committees and have you also take a look at what events or activities does each committee sort of want to stick a date on, put a name on, and sort of take over in this scheme of the year. So can everyone open the document? Everyone's got it? Okay, so just to start off, before we jump into this, I want to make sure that the board is aware that we have a number of events happening in December. We have Lighted Up Kingfield, which is happening on Mondays. I know a number of you were out on the streets on Monday. It seemed like it had good traction. The goal of the event is to have a presence on our streets in the dark with neighbors at a time when a lot of people are afraid of what's going on within our community. And tied to that, we're holding workshops at Butter Bakery for luminary and snowflake making. The luminaries can go home with you for your house or your neighbors for Lighted Up Kingfield. The snowflakes stay at Butter, and people are writing hopes on them and sending them off into the sky of Butter's windows for 2022. So those are on Thursdays from 3:30 to 5:30. And then on Saturday, there's two different events that that Kenzie has been coordinating. The first is the Kingfield Cookie Exchange, which is Saturday morning at the office. Time, Kenzie, time, 10 to 11:30. Has anyone signed up? Anyways, I think we have like a dozen neighbors signed up so far. You bring 24, thanks Kenzie, 10 to 11:30 at the office out front. So there'll be a fire pit out front. There'll be warm cider on. You bring 24 cookies packaged in packs of 6. It would be great if you'd register beforehand. Kenzie, if you can pop the sign-up sheet into the chat, that would be great. and then you just swap cookies. This is also a way for us to take care of neighbors who might not have family here during this time. So if you know people who are on quarantine, people who live alone, elderly neighbors that might not be baking, you can put their name in and we will have someone deliver a batch of cookies to them. That afternoon, there's also a cookie decorating event at Butter Bakery. It's a drop-in event, but we ask that you register so Dan can have cookies set aside for you, and then there'll be frosting and sparkles and fun stuff like that at the community table. So that's this month. Just a reminder that Lighted Up Kingfield runs all the way through December, so I think that last date is after Christmas and yet still in December. And then we move into the calendar or the schedule that I had sent you guys on the Excel sheet. So it is confirmed at this point that we are doing empty bowls as a kitchen takeover at Butter Bakery. And we are tying it into Super Bowl. So we're super excited that Dan's going to let us take over the kitchen and be there with us cooking that day. Because of COVID, it will be either a pick up and take home opportunity of dinner, but also a chance for you to see neighbors as you come pick up soup. But because restaurants and if it's warm enough, outdoor dining will be open, you can also come in, pick up your bowl, take a donation, and eat at the restaurant at the bakery itself. So we're right now talking noon to 2. We don't know much more than that. So there's a community planning team working on that will be meeting this coming Tuesday at 5 p.m. at Butter. If anyone is interested in joining that, you're welcome to join us. I believe that date is the 14th. And then just kicking quickly through this list, I checked in with Josh. There is actually an election in 2022. I barely got over the last one. So there's an election on November 8th. So there'll be a primary date that we will probably be working on. No plans yet as to what will be happening. But there's a list of things on here that we've done in the past, whether that's voter education, or just awareness of the election. So we'll do a polling day party probably on the 9th and on November 8th. The annual meeting is on here. We have to have one. I'm hoping that Recruitment is coming up with a date and a format. We do have a commitment this year for the Sap Tap and Pancake Breakfast. We're hoping that the weather will be nice enough that we can do the breakfast outside. Otherwise, we won't be eating inside yet by March when this event will be taking place. And then again, we have Porch Fest. On Thursdays we sing, probably a garden tour if we find a group of volunteers willing to design it and lead it. National Night Out. I'm guessing we will be back with Open Streets this year. As I told you guys last year, they had a new director. So I've had a conversation with them. I'm expecting that to happen. And then down below is sort of a list of a bunch of other things, maybe 20 of them that have been kicked around over the last year or two. So please take a look at those. Some are new, coming from people in this group. Some have been kicked around for years and years, and no one's really figured out a way to do or find brought the energy to the table to make sure it's just not a staff initiative. So I
Where's
think
that list, Sarah? Where's that list?
it's all dumped on the bottom of that Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
So the link that I put in the chat.
Okay.
Starts with empty bowls with a date and then gets much less certain as we go along. So I think the goal of this now is for people to go into their breakout committees. Right? Does someone want to help me here? BJ, what was the concept? Go into your breakout committee, and we're going to give people 20 minutes to basically have a small group meeting, because it's been hard for people to arrange time to meet, to sort of come up with a task list of what they want to do, but also in that time sort of look at what events can they sort of take over. Is there a time that the strategic planning team is going to launch with an event or do something in the community? Is there a time that the annual meeting can be set for that sort of fits into these other events? Same with fundraising.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I ask, can I ask one question? Maybe this is a good question for Josh. 2022 election, do you know what the, what seats are up and what we are going to be voting for in 2022?
Federal level, there's U.S. House. Neither of our Senate seats are up for election. State, all of the statewide offices are up for election. Governor, Attorney General, all of that. And then all of the seats in the State House and the State Senate are up for election. County offices, and then some, so like county commissioner and county attorney, and then finally like half of the school board, because they have a staggered setup. I think that's everything.
Okay.
Judicial, I guess.
So it's often the election where we try to do a education about the bottom of the ballot, or who's on the backside. You know, the people that, what do those people do? Who are those judges? You know. So
I mean, it is the governor and our Congress people. Like I think it is going to end up feeling like a pretty present election. I think it's the following year that will probably feel like that, you know, it's gonna be only city council members the following year. But I think it will feel like a pretty present election.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if I can break you guys into groups. I'm host now, aren't I?
You are. Yep.
Got it. Okay. How much time? 20? 15?
No, we're actually, yeah, we're a little bit ahead of time. So I'd say we can at least do 20. Yep.
Okay. And I believe Kenzie's going to try to join strategic planning.
Okay.
I'm going to try to bot between the other two groups.
Okay.
Okay. So just give me a minute.
Sarah, can I ask a quick question before we go into small groups?
Yep.
So just for the recruitment work group, we had been talking about annual meeting. I'm seeing here on the spreadsheet that it says May 8th or 15th. Is that?
Sorry, that's held over from last year.
Got it.
Thank you. Not all the columns got erased.
Got it. Thanks.
Yep. Okay. I got to move you guys. So here we go. Okay.
Last thing I'll say while we're waiting was it was very exciting to see. I've said this to Sarah already, but it was very exciting to see the posters about the cookie stuff and things out. It just felt very good. And I hope we continue with that because it was awesome to see. So.
Okay. Help me here. Recruitment. David, Jerome, Sarah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this is so annoying. I'm sorry, you guys. I've never done this manually before. I might have to do this and then move you, so sorry.
Mm.
Okay, this is a pain. Jerome, you're going to end up in the wrong room and I'll move you. David, are you there live?
You're definitely